Straight Politicking, and I'm Alex Alonso, and I always forget to introduce myself, but I'm here with Munchie B, the mayor
Yay.
from out of the eye. And what's been good, man? I heard you got a new label. I heard you got a new label. Have you spoken about this publicly yet? You got a new label?
A new label? What you mean?
Like a new title? Yeah, a new title, a new label.
Oh man, at this young age, I'm a pawpaw.
Man, you got a label that I don't never want to have.
Man, yeah, my daughter had her son yesterday. He came out healthy. All we could ask for, 7 pounds, 4 ounces.
Young ass grandpa.
Hell yeah, I did everything young, experienced everything young. It's crazy.
Yeah, it is to be in your mid-30s and having that label.
But yeah, he here now. Yeah.
So you young, she was young. Shit, you might be a great grandfather.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully not, man. Kids got to stop having kids, man. Because I was, 15 and then turned 16 the next month after my daughter was born.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that shit.
Yeah, that's too young, man. That's too young.
Yeah, for real. I was still telling my mama I'm hungry. For real, I want some chicken.
As what's that? Ninth grade?
Was it 10th? Something like that.
So you've been also heading up to No Jumper pretty weekly, consistently.
More frequent.
I kind of feel like you took Brick Baby's place, but I know it's like an unofficial replacement.
Yeah, it seemed like when Brick Baby got locked up, I just became more consistent instead of here and there like I was before. But it seemed like Brick about to be sitting down for a minute. But I mean, you never know at No Jumper. You never know what your future holds. So like I say, don't quit your day job. You know what I mean? So you know what I'm saying?
So you was just up there this week, and it got a little spicy on the set, didn't it? Like it always kind of do. That's what it's known for up there.
Yeah. Okay. So Brandon, I met him some months ago at No Jumper. He real controversial. He know how to put a spin on things, and you could tell he not a dummy. He articulated himself real well, but he be spicing stuff up on purpose, I feel. You know what I mean? He know how to do the little shock value thing. You know what I mean? He could like passive aggressively insult you or whatever. And then you got Suspect, like a couple of weeks ago they was on streaming together, and then it was a misunderstanding because Brandon asked him, "Did you say the N word with the hard ER?" And Suspect be complexing. He got a light skin. He be complexing off his complexion. Like, what you mean I'm black? Why would I? And then that was before the cameras went on, and when the cameras gone and the arguing continued, it got real spicy. They've been separated since then, and then as of recently, like when I was just last up there was me, Lush, Young and Hefe, Almighty Suspect, and Brandon was all there. Almost made it through. Man, it blew up.
So it was going fine for the first hour or so.
Nah, they was antagonizing each other the whole way through, but then we would pivot. You know what I'm saying? Like try to bring up this whole different topics. You know what I'm saying? But they get back on each other, like antagonizing each other, and then till somebody dropped the B-bomb, which Suspect been calling him a bitch all through the thing, but he is good at ignoring it. All words can't move me until he shot the B word back at Suspect, and Suspect like, what? Blah blah blah. Split. He threw some spit his way, and he hopped up, and that's when he cut the cameras, and you just hear the audio, and then all the growling and all the little shuffling, and you know what I'm saying?
Was there security present?
Yes, yeah, security was present.
Did they get to the stage, or they just kind of kicked back?
They got there. They got there in time because they knew it was like it was spicy. So they was like not too far from the room we was recording in, but they came in there in time before it could get, like, you know what I'm saying? But allegedly, I don't know. Of course I don't know. But allegedly, Brandon say, look, you got a weapon. You got, you know what I'm saying? He like, I ain't got nothing. You feel me? That's when I hopped on the couch and got out the way, because I don't know if he talking about blick, knife, mace. You know, that bear mace go far. You about to spray my way. You hear young Ant laughing. He cracking up. He off the cookies high as hell, slapping his thigh, laughing. You know, this nigga Munchie like, oh, I'm like, man, shit, I don't know what he got, but man, it went far. And then somebody just called me like, man, the Reddit say they got rid of suspects. So I called Adam and he confirmed it, like, yep, he gone. So I'm like, damn.
Yeah, man. So Adam wasn't there.
Adam was in New York for like a whole week.
And the guys that were there, Lush, you, and so it was 5 of y'all on the panel?
Bazaar was there from D12.
Okay.
You know, used to be in a group with Eminem.
Yeah, I remember that.
That dude, the shower cap.
I don't remember none of the members. I just remember D12.
Yeah, he from Detroit. No. He cool people. So he was there for like 2 hours, and then he had to leave. You know what I'm saying? He had something to do. Shout out Bazaar. He cool. I had him saying B team and all that. I'm about to clip that. But yeah, but I guess it's supposed to be something special about them sitting down together. You know what I'm saying? So I guess they're supposed to like hash it out or whatever. I don't know. I could say, you could say suspect took it too far, kept sparking the conversation back up after it died down, but at the same time, why even schedule them together? You know what I mean? Like, so he not completely at fault. You know what I'm saying? And then whoever turned it down, they feel like, oh, he gonna be there, I ain't going. Oh, he gonna be there. Not. So the person feel like the lesser, like, or feel like he's a buster. Oh, cause I'm saying I'm not coming cause he there. So it's like a pride thing. So if I was making an executive decision as far as almighty suspect, it would be a long suspension instead of just firing them. A long suspension, more than a week.
Yeah, well.
You know what I mean? Because, you know.
But they kind of deliberately create content to go in that direction more times than not.
Yeah, but I ain't gonna allow nobody to put me in a situation like that though, because I know where it could go, and then the support system I got, you know what I mean? So, like, I'm like, nah, you know what I'm saying? Cause like, all right, I ain't gonna say his name. You got the weirdo, you know what I'm saying? you got the delusion. How you say it? Delusion of grandeur.
Delusions of grandeur.
You got Mr. Delusions of grandeur. He keeps saying, Mushy's a buster. He don't want to sit down with me. He can't face me. He won't say it. Man, why would I sit down with you about anything and talk about anything?
Yeah, absolutely
that's
not.
counterproductive.
Yeah, I wouldn't even recommend to do that. For what?
It's counterproductive. If it was like when Deuce M's and Young Ant was going back and forth, and I was pushing for them to, man, they need to holler, which they did. That's something different because they two solid people. Why would I sit down with a snitch that told in open court and used his pointing finger and stated his name for the record and got somebody all that time in prison?
And you wasn't doing it to help. Let's just clear that. There was no. That's his narrative because he cannot deny that he did it. So now he explains it away by saying he did it to help the defendant when that was never even in motion.
Hey, the best way you can help is not show up in court.
You don't say anything.
Best way you can help. You know what I mean? You always look. He always trying to pull up some snitch paperwork on me. They brought me to court from prison, wasting their gas money. I was in the clean prison. They brought me back down to this dirty ass county jail so I could cooperate on somebody and see if it went that way. It was, what 2011? They brought me back down from Wasco to CCB court. Look it up. You always trying to look everything. He got the apps because he found the gun case recently, prior like 3 years ago with me or something.
Yeah.
that he never concluded and told us about what happened with it. What happened? But yeah, man. I mean, I ain't never told on nobody.
Yeah, and I would never sit down with someone who's got a pattern of pathological lying. That's why I always hang up on Wack 100. I'm not going to get nothing out of a conversation with someone that all they do is lie. Like 80% of what comes out your mouth is misinformation. Why even sit down with the person? It's a waste of time.
What is it about you that will make a person want to sit down with you and have a conversation with you? There's no good content to be done with you. You're a horrible person morally when it comes to you in a relationship with your family because you got 3 daughters. You're not even in their life. You told. I don't condone in that. You've been from 5 different hoods. I don't condone in that. There's no reason for me and this man to have a conversation.
None.
I'm not a fan of your music. So, I mean, hey, what's there to talk about?
Absolutely nothing.
Nothing at all.
Nothing. It's pointless.
Nothing at all. You got better action than me and 4 extras sitting down having a conversation. You know why? Because it'll look good to the kids. And he's not a buster. I've caught some lies he told, but he's not a buster. I don't know of him ever telling on anybody or him being from 50 hoods. So you have more action and I'm not interested in that, but you have more action than me and 4 extras sitting down talking than me and Delusions of Grandeur.
Hey, I was reading a court case where 4 extras got aired out by one of his own homies. They rush him to the hospital. Police pull up, go to the hospital. 4 extras. Who shot you? He knows who shot him because it was his own homie. But who does he tell the police when he's laying in the hospital bed?
Mm-hmm. I don't know.
I don't know who shot me.
Right.
He's looking right at the face of the guy who shot him. So we already kind of know where 4 extras is when it comes to this street code.
Right.
Yeah.
It make more sense. You know what I'm saying? But I would never, man. I would never.
Yeah. So, unfortunately, the other dude, when he was asked who shot your friend in open court, he said it was him. That guy.
Right.
Over there.
He pointed and he described the clothing he had on, and he stated his name for the record. Can you spell your name for Melvin?
Well, you got to do that regardless.
Banks, Banks. But he's stating it for the record.
Yeah.
And it's for the wrong reasons, bro. It's for the wrong reasons. Like you don't do that as a quote unquote street person. No, the streets is not a myth. Y'all just some mythical characters that's trying to partake to be street people.
This crazy guy, Delusions of Grandeur, was on the platform with Wack one day talking about how I went to prison before.
Why ain't nobody asking about Alex Alonso, bro? He's the biggest mystery on the internet trying to expose somebody. And Alex Alonso, he done went and got all his records sealed. So you can't find nothing on him. Ask yourselves, pay attention to who these dudes is. Like Alex, why you go to the pen? What happened in that case? These are the questions that we gotta have ask Alex Alonso.
And boys and girls, I have never stepped foot on a prison yard as an inmate in my life. In my life.
They say, Munchie B ain't never been to the pen.
And they say, you never been to the pen.
And I've been there. Then they say, Alex Alonso was in the penitentiary. What about that?
Yeah.
So I can talk about that. And he's never been to the penitentiary.
Listen, homie, I've been from my set longer than you've been living. You can't tell me nothing about no streets. You ain't never walked no penitentiaries. You can't tell me about the county jail. You can't tell me about the gangbang. Munchie, listen, respectfully, homie, like, it's more to come if you keep on, and I don't want to do it because you are one of God's children. You owe me. I did what a homie was supposed to do. I looked out for you. Like, homie, y'all up there talking about who did. Spot ain't never been to the pen. You ain't never been to the pen.
It just shows you how far they're willing to go with their misinformation. You've been to prison, and they're saying you ain't never been there.
Right.
which is supposed to be, I guess, a diss to you.
Right.
So a guy so gangster never been to a yard.
I repeat, what make you hard about going to prison?
Yeah, I don't.
You didn't run fast enough. You didn't jump high enough. You didn't get away.
Yeah.
What make you hard? Because you got caught. I'm still lost.
Well, there is this. I guess there is a bit of if you could survive a California prison, that means you've passed the test to a certain degree.
Well. I always heard if you can survive the LA County jail, you can survive anywhere.
That's true.
That's the LA County jail is a different demon.
The LA County jail is a whole nother level than probably all the prison yards in California.
Right. That LA County jail is very dangerous, and it's you know what I mean. And then it's more structured once you get to the penitentiary, more organized, and you at least likely to.
And what's ironic, I don't think Wack 100's ever been to the LA County jail because he went from YA
Right.
straight to the penitentiary. I think you don't. I think you skipped the step.
Right.
I don't think there's ever even a requirement to go to county jail. If you're a YA baby and you turn 18 and you still got time to do, they send you straight to reception.
Man, I just want to put out there, you're not tough because you go to prison. And if you so tough, let's talk about the shit you did in prison. It's called a C-file. Show your C-file. How many stickings you got? Like that. I'm saying, and I ain't talking about the dude just getting caught with phones. That ain't nothing dangerous or gangster about that. How many? Did you lay the yard down? Yard down. Did they have to discharge that mini 14 because you did your shit? Like going to jail don't make you tough, bro. Make you goofy. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
4X got all he had 10 violations with this one PO. The PO said it's unheard of in his whole career. I was in. He want to be out here. You know what I'm saying? So like, what make this type of shit gangster though? So I don't know.
Ain't no way I'm getting violated 10 times. That's never gonna happen.
With one PO.
It's never gonna happen.
Sheesh.
Shit, I was on probation once as a minor when I was 13, and I did 6 months probation. Used to have to go to that spot on Exposition in Crenshaw every week, sit there listening to this guy talk about absolutely nothing, and I almost wanted to stop going, but I was told if I stopped going, you're going right to juvenile hall, straight to juvenile hall. You know, I got to see the inside of a police station, the LAPD police station, for the first time in my life.
Which one? You went to the one right here on King?
I went to the Wilshire Division on Venice.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Wilshire Division on Venice. Now,
what's that? Southwest? I'm talking about.
no, South. So check it out. The 10 freeway separates Southwest from Wilshire Division, and our community is on both sides of the 10. So depending on what side of the 10 you playing on, you either go to Southwest. If you're on the south side of the 10, if you're on the north side of the 10, you go to Wilshire.
Oh, yeah, I've been to Southwest before.
Yeah. I managed to stay at a juvenile hall though.
Nah, juvenile hall, it make you you either learn your lesson or it make you worse.
But isn't camp below juvenile hall? Camp is for lesser.
Nah, camp. Then it's no. It's juvenile hall then camp.
Okay.
But it's like you in juvenile hall, like you waiting on what they gonna do with you. Then they sentence you to camp, kind of like how the county is with the pen. I think juvenile hall bad because you sitting there week in, week out, months, all these, and then you like these the age you supposed to be absorbing shit and learning these like little characteristics and like you know what I'm saying, and you kind of like learning from your peers and just blending in with the environment. So it kind of make for me every week that went by I got worse.
Yeah.
That's what I believe. I think it's gonna make you, it's gonna make you a little better, or you gonna be a toe up kid. It's gonna, you know
Yeah, but I think it's ironic that these two guys that we're talking about, I'm not 100% certain, but I don't believe any of them ever touched the LA County Jail, which is really where you're truly tested.
Oh man, listen, the one that used to have the Jerry curl, I'm very interested. I don't wish jail on nobody, but that would be an interesting experiment. I wish some cameras could follow him around and he could hit the LA County Jail, bro. No, for real. That shit, man. Come on, man.
And then your boy, we're gonna call him. You call him I got a new name for fake Cannon. We're gonna call him Tremaine Mills. Tremaine Mills.
Oh, okay.
Tremaine Mills. Unfortunately, he avoided the county with this Fed case. So, but he might get no. He's gonna get transferred to San Bernardino County for that other for the domestic violence case. So he's gonna avoid L.A. County.
It wouldn't be no reason for him to go to LA County anyway. Aside from the like even with the San Bernardino
Oh,
thing.
you know where he might go to L.A. County if when the no jumper indictment comes, because Burbank's L.A. County. So
Woo, no jumper been jumping.
yeah.
God damn.
And yes, ladies and gentlemen, that no jumper indictment is coming. I don't know when. Of course, I don't wish it. I just know that it is. That's just what it is. You can't stop an indictment from coming. So let's talk about it. People is talking about I'm over here wishing an indictment. I'm over here providing information for an indictment. Nah, these people already got all the information they need right now. And they're doing their deep dive on all the suspects.
Hey, it seemed like when all the violence go down, Adam don't be there. Cause like with the no jumper ass beating, he left the premises. He was gone. And then like with this recent thing with Almighty Suspect, he was way in New York.
But nothing.
Is it an no? It was another one. Almighty Suspect whipped on Kelpie. He called him a BITC agent. Almighty Suspect banked him upside the head. What else got? Did anything else go up there?
I thought when Brick Baby crashed out, even though that wasn't no violence, I heard off camera there was a little bit of pushing and shoving with bro from Long Beach.
Yeah, P Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's up in the air though. They stories kind of like, and I kind of like kind of lean to like believing what Brick Baby kind of said.
That was a crazy crash out though. That crash out made the Big U indictment.
Yeah, hey, but you know what I learned about these indictments? The indictments just to build character, like to let people know what type of person you is. It ain't like you just really charged with anything, just to tell a story. Like, yeah, I seen Alex one day. He walked out the store, looked at the clerk, and grabbed some chips and said, "I'm out of here." You ain't getting charged with theft, but they just want to let people know you just a thief and you be terrorizing your community, and the clerk scared of you and he don't want to say nothing to you.
Just like what Capricorn Clark said about Diddy, she's telling a story of which most of those offenses in the story is not being charged, but the story in and of itself is going to be used to convince a jury that these other RICO-related charges are true.
Right.
So we could briefly talk about that. Capricorn Clark testified, kind of just added more fuel to the Kid Cudi story, where Kid Cudi talked about Diddy breaking into his house, putting his dog in the bathroom. Now they're claiming that the dog was injured in that. So I guess they could try to make it seem like another charge. The dog was put in the bathroom. Diddy goes through all these gifts. I guess it was Christmas time to make sure. He's like, what did this dude get for Cassie? Let me see if any of this are these Cassie gifts. And eventually, Capricorn Kelly.
Was any of them Cassie gifts?
I don't know if they got into the details of the gifts, but he I guess you can say he just went through all of them, tearing the papers, the gift wrap off.
So what if you was to open up this box and inside the box there's some lingerie? Who's to say this is for Cassie though?
Well, I'm sure that the gifts probably have when you open them up, the little cards maybe. Yeah, a gift. You got to know who a gift is from and who it's to. So once you open it up, you got all the information.
So if he opening up these gifts and they don't say Cassie name on it, now you doing too much, bro.
Or maybe the gifts had the names on the. Actually, it's supposed to be on the outside of the gift.
Yeah, it's the wrapping.
Yeah.
And then it's the little sticker.
So
it be like to and from it, like you know what I'm saying.
So or maybe these were some gifts that weren't labeled yet, and he just decided to go through them. But yeah, Diddy. First of all, he's in this guy's house.
Hold on.
In the first place.
Tell me he done had this man robe on.
I don't know.
That's a lie, please.
I ain't hear that one.
Okay.
So that was last week.
Redact that. Go do the court terms. He didn't have a robe on.
But that was last week where Kid Cudi basically told, "Hey, what do you think about Young Thug calling Kid Cudi a snitch and then deleting the tweet where he said that.
Man, I think somebody advised him to delete it, but him calling him a rat is not a violation of his parole or probation. Like, what's wrong with him calling him that?
I don't think,
Especially as an artist, this is what you do. You express yourself.
but it depends because you could have conditions of your parole of things that aren't necessarily illegal to do, but because you're on parole, they become illegal. You know what I mean?
That's not illegal.
Like having a screwdriver in your back pocket is not illegal, but if you're on parole for breaking into cars and you're not to possess any tools that you can use to break into cars, now having a screwdriver in your back pocket is a crime. If that's your condition.
Him calling somebody a rat is not a violation, man. If I was him, I would have left it up.
Yeah, I think he don't want to end up back in Fulton County fighting another case.
Especially once you put it, it's already up. You young thug, bro. Once it's up for 15 seconds, it's up.
Yeah.
Period.
Okay, so I just asked that because Kid Cudi, I don't hold Kid Cudi to that standard though, because I don't think he's from the streets. I don't think he ever portrayed to be a gangster or a thug. I could be wrong. I don't know. Maybe he did have a short run.
I think he should have compensated Cudi. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't know how true it is. He texted him or called him like, man, what about my Porsche? And what he say? Porsche? Like, he was lost. Like, what? Like,
No, but I believe it came with a little sarcasm though.
right.
Yeah.
Right. So you should have compensated that man vehicle, bro.
Yeah, he should have bought him a new car.
Right.
But that don't mean that Cudi wouldn't have came to court on his ass in 2025 because apparently that happened like in 2011 or 12 or 13. So,
Well, if he would have still came to court after he paid for his vehicle, then you really wrong. You know what I'm saying? I get it. You your feelings. I hate your broad. And, you know what I'm saying? I'm spanking her down. It may or may not be some gifts under this what's this thing called? This tree. But once you pay for my car, man, at least pay for my car. Because Cudi, after that, he was done. He said, oh, this ain't worth it. He wasn't even communicating with Cassie no more.
yeah.
He's a smart man.
Cudi could have had Cassie.
Right. No, he's smart. He said, forget that.
Yeah, I don't have a B next to the dollar sign in my bank account. You just can't go against that. But let me read this little article regarding Capricorn Clark. Diddy allegedly plotted to kill Kid Cudi, according to testimony from former employee Capricorn Clark, who testified this week in the Diddy trial. Clark, who previously worked as a personal assistant to the Bad Boy record boss, was giving testimony in Diddy's ongoing sex trafficking trial. As part of her evidence, she detailed an alleged incident from 2011, 14 years ago, man, where Diddy discovered Cassie had begun a relationship with Kid Cudi. Clark said Diddy arrived at her house carrying a gun, furious that she had not informed him about the relationship. That's funny. Like, Cassie's supposed to say, okay, by the way, I'm going to be dating this guy now. She did not inform you, Diddy, that she was dating Kid Cudi.
No. He put up to Capricorn.
Oh, you're right. Clark. So Diddy was expecting Capricorn Clark to snitch her out because you work for me.
Right.
Yeah. You're right. Clark then testified that she was kidnapped at gunpoint by the mogul, and then that she was told to get dressed. We're gonna go kill Kid Cudi. I'm gonna stop that article there, but I don't consider this literal. I just consider this we about to push a line. We're about to do some intimidation. I'm pissed right now, but was he really gonna kill Kid Cudi? Nah, I don't think so.
I don't think so either. But it's gonna be taken literal in the court of law. You said it. How we gonna know you didn't mean it?
Exactly. That's why you got to be careful what you say because they do have this thing called terrorist threat.
They got criminal threats and terrorist threat.
And I believe someone is saying that is Wack commit a terrorist or criminal threat, a verbal threat.
I think Aaron the Plumber had a report on him that he threatened him. So I think he's supposed to have a warrant for threatening him or something. Aaron the Plumber don't care.
No, but Aaron the Plumber used to be from somewhere.
Aaron the Plumber, he don't get a break like Kid Cudi would get a break for doing what he doing. All that Brolowski, You hopping out, you socking people. You know what I'm saying? You was about that life at one point. Nah, you don't get no pass, bro.
Hey, what do you think about Capricorn Clark? Because on cross examination, the defense attorneys for Diddy said, "But Capricorn Clark, you continue to work for Diddy, and then after he fired you, and you went to him asking for your job back, and you went back to work for Diddy." So they're trying to like discredit her testimony about Kid Cudi because you stayed working for Diddy.
Yeah, the same way Cassie claimed she got raped, but then went back and requested some sex from him after. So, and now she came back looking for her job. It's too many inconsistencies. Free Puffy. Yeah.
Well, I could understand that she may have he fired her, blackballed her, and put her in a position where she couldn't work anymore in this business. So there's only one person you can go to now.
I want everybody to go down to the federal court building in support of Puffy, and everybody had their Puffy jackets on. And yeah, nah, man. Hey, so if somebody, nah. So many inconsistencies, man.
Well, I don't think that's inconsistent.
Alex Alonso ain't about to put a gun in my head and tell me, hey, we about to go unalive Charleston White. And then I get dressed and we go and all this little shit, and I'm terrified. Then I come back, hey Alex, man, you think the Tuesday slot still open? I'm like, man, nah.
Wait, but how about putting
She's
it
scared or not?
put it in a female perspective though? Maybe
She should be more scared. Why come back around that? This man had a gun and he talking about unaliving somebody. You gonna go around that again?
it's going to be tough because you got two separate witnesses telling the same story about the same incident. That's pretty strong. I'm sure the jury's like, okay.
Okay, then I want to know, when was the last time Capricorn and Cudi was in communication?
Oh, to see if they got their stories together?
Yeah, what kind of relationship? What kind of relationship do they got?
Yeah, I don't know.
And then you got to think, Cassie informed Capricorn that she was dealing with Cudi, so they got some type of, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, it ain't looking too good for Diddy these last several days of testimony.
Man, anything dealing with Cudi, it don't look good as far as Puffy go. Everybody else, all the other testimonies, like blah.
Well, the burning of the car, that's arson, and then also taking Capricorn Clark, that's going to be considered kidnapping.
Cudi related.
Yeah. So that stuff ain't looking good, man. But
Capricorn, she fell.
she foul.
She fell because if you felt the danger, you should have called the police then.
Yeah, but Cassie's the one that's provided the blueprint for this whole testimony. So Cassie's saying, "Hey, you don't believe me? Go holler at Capricorn Clark." So they go pull up on her, and they're forcing her to testify. She probably never wanted any part of this.
Capricorn, my question to you is, how serious, 1 through 10, that you think Sean Puffy Combs literally wanted you to get dressed so y'all two could go together unalive Cudi? I don't believe you believed him. That'll be my question in cross examination, because you came back and looked for a job, and at that time you didn't feel that in much in danger to contact the authorities as a woman.
Look, when Diddy and Capricorn Clark went to Cudi's house, he wasn't there. And I almost know for certain when the prosecutor closes their arguments at the end of the trial, they're going to say, this man plotted to kill Kid Cudi, and thank God no one was home. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you might think this was just a empty threat, but we don't know. What if Kid Cudi was there? Diddy had a gun, he was mad, and you saw what he did to this one young lady in the hallway of that hotel.
And me as an attorney, I would like, Miss Capricorn Clark, Your Honor is a disgruntled employee, and I believe they're still in communication with Cudi, and they
Well, you can't say you believe someone's in communication
why not?
because you don't have that as a fact. You gotta.
I can't say I have reasons to believe.
No, you can't.
Because they was on their way to quote unquote unalive this man, and he wasn't there. You know why I think? Because this woman told him, we're on our way. You need to leave. You need to haul ass.
Yeah, she gave the warning.
Gave the warning.
Yeah.
And here it is, years later, y'all coercing y'all stories together. I believe all y'all is in cahoots. All y'all in cahoots. That Trainer, Cassie, Capricorn, Cudi, all y'all's in cahoots.
Well, that's what the deliberation room is going to be all about. Hopefully for Diddy, you got at least 2 jurors that believe what Munchie B believes.
I hope the jurors is watching this, man. I hope y'all subscribe to Street TV, man. Straight Politicking.
That's all you need is 1 or 2 jurors. But actually, let's play clip number 1 of this whole Capricorn Clark situation.
Explosive testimony in the federal sex trafficking trial against Sean Diddy Combs.
Yeah, today jurors heard from Capricorn Clark. She was a former employee of Combs who testified that the music mogul kidnapped and threatened her during her time working for him. Combs has pleaded not guilty to all charges in the case.
NBC News entertainment correspondent Chloe Malas is outside the courthouse for us once again in New York City. Chloe, what did Clark say on the stand today?
It was incredibly riveting. She was emotional just a few moments ago. She actually apologized to the judge for crying so much. This is a woman who was a personal assistant for Combs at one point and then held various roles on and off over the course of 14 years. And she talked about this one moment from December 2011 when she says that Combs was furious when he found out that Cassie had been cheating on him with musician Kid Cudi. Remember, Kid Cudi, whose real name is Scott Muscudi, he testified last week. And so now we're getting a fuller picture of her version of what happened in December 2011 when Combs allegedly broke into Kid Cudi's house after he found out that Cassie and Kid Cudi were having this relationship. And she says that Combs showed up to her apartment early in the morning with a gun and kidnapped her, forced her to go with him to break into Kid Cudi's home. And then she said that she stayed back in the car and she called Cassie and warned her what was going on. She also says that later that morning she returned to Sean Combs' house after he had her go and get Cassie and bring her to him. She says that that's when she witnessed Combs violently beat up Cassie and kick her to the point that she fell to the ground in a fetal position, and that he continued to kick her all the way from the front threshold of this mansion to the street. And she says that she was so worried for Cassie's life that she actually called her mother, Regina Van.
I think we got the point there.
Key word, she said she called Cassie and warned her.
She warned her when Diddy was going in the...
So who's to say Cassie didn't warn Kid Cudi? I think Cudi knew he was on his way over there. He hopped in one of them other whips or got up out of it. He got gone. You know what I'm saying?
No, I think that was the right thing if that's what happened.
Hell yeah. Protect yourself. Hell yeah.
He's coming with a pistol and he's in love with Cassie. Yeah, I'm out of here. Or the other option is you got a pistol. He's pulling up with a pistol. You could shoot Diddy. If Diddy was coming to Kid Cudi's house and Kid Cudi was armed, he could have killed Diddy legally.
Yeah, where's Cudi security? Shit.
I don't even know if he's on that level. You know, this is his apartment or his home. What do you need security for?
Shit like this.
Yeah,
you want to mess with people, women, and they don't know how to act after they find out. But man,
I myself would have waited for Diddy to come, and I would have stood at the door. I said, Diddy, if you come one more foot on my property, this is gonna look like the OK Corral.
Take that. Pat, pat, pat.
And but he must knew that Cudi wasn't built like that.
I believe Puffy picks and choose.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, like he slapped Drake and he did something with somebody else. Like, yeah, I believe he be picking and choosing.
I don't think Diddy would have came to Alex Alonso's house woofing.
Yeah, he would have got Diddy bopped.
Yeah, would have. I'm not leaving. I'm not leaving at all. But yeah, he might pick and choose. But it's good that I suggest people, boys and girls, you hear that someone's coming to your house with a gun because you're in a relationship with their woman, it's probably best to leave. But I wonder, were they broke up? Was Cassie and Diddy officially broke up? Did she move on, and Diddy's just upset, or was Cassie trying to have Cudi as a side dude? That's what I'm unclear about. Was their breakup? Was Cassie and Diddy's breakup official at that point? But obviously not, because they stayed together for many years after 2011.
Reasonable doubt.
All right, well, Diddy's lucky.
Hold on.
Yeah.
We just heard her Cassie just had her baby.
Oh, yeah. She just had a baby.
Yeah, I don't know boy or girl, but congratulations to you and you know what I'm saying? You, your family, y'all enjoy the millions.
She's with the white guy.
Trainer, right?
I don't know. Was he the trainer?
The trainer that he hired for her and she got with, yeah.
That's
Come
crazy.
on, man. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
Hell no.
Hey, you know, you can't really predict how people are going to come together. That's how it happened. That's what it is.
Aw, man. So I sent somebody to fix my girl computer and then they end up dating? Oh, no. Hell no.
Hey, you know, a lot of people hook up, get married from work. I met my husband and wife at work.
And guess what?
You know?
That's why it ain't safe to go to work.
Or in college.
Nah.
No, you don't want to send your wife to work in a male-dominated profession.
Nah, it could be blended, bro. It's not even safe to send your significant other to work with lunch and say, "I'll see you later, babe." Hey, because them post offices, Amazon, and LAX, you don't trust them women that work there.
Yeah, but you know what profession you really can't trust for women?
Nursing and working in prisons.
I would say I would agree with nursing, but I would add flight attendant.
Oh, the pilot gonna be piping.
Not just that, you're meeting people in every city. So some of these flight attendants, oh yeah, I got a guy in Houston, I got a guy in Miami.
Jersey.
Yeah, man. Flight attendant, that's one profession you want to stay away from if you meet a girl that's what she does. But yeah, nursing always comes up. I don't understand nursing, but it always comes up.
Nursing and the female COs.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
All right. Now there was this shooting that happened out here in Lancaster back in 2024, and I was a little confused why it was in the news in 2025, but it was a gang shooting in Lancaster. For those who are unfamiliar, is a small city in the northern part of Los Angeles County. It's actually, I want to say it's if you keep going north past Lancaster, you're going to get into Kern County. So that's how far north it is. But LA County is huge. So I don't know if you knew that Lancaster's still LA County.
Yeah, it's Antelope Valley, but
Yeah.
Palmdale, Lancaster still LA County.
Yeah. Once you pass Lancaster, the next county is Kern. But there's a lot of LA folks out there in Lancaster. And let me read this little article from Channel 7 Eyewitness News. A reputed Pasadena street gang member was arrested Tuesday for allegedly taking part in a pair of gang-related killings that occurred during a shooting spree in Lancaster. Jerry Wembley III, 20 years old, of Lancaster, was named along with two co-defendants in a 4-count federal indictment. Wembley was charged in the indictment with 2 counts of murder in aid of racketeering, according to U.S. Attorney's Office. Also charged in the indictment were Vianney Richardson, 37, of Lancaster, and Jerry Wembley Jr., who's 22, same last name, same name, Jerry Wembley III, Jerry Wembley Jr., he's 22, also of Lancaster. Richardson was already in custody in Nevada on an unrelated state charge, was charged with 2 counts of murder in aid of racketeering, 1 count of attempted murder in aid of racketeering, and 1 count of being a felon in possession of ammunition. And this all goes back to a shooting that happened in 2024 with the Wembley brothers taking part in the latter two, after which the defendants gathered at the gravesite of a fellow gang member to mark the 2-year anniversary of the person's death. So we got all kind of blood gangbanging going on in Lancaster. I'm just a little confused to hear the PDL name mentioned, the Pasadena Denver Lanes mentioned in this Lancaster shooting.
No, not me, because I know PDL, Pasadena Denver Lane, got a heavy presence out there, Palmdale, Lancaster, to the point they even had a gang injunction on PDL in the city of Palmdale. I'm like, damn, how they do that? And then not only them, Wack 100, where the community he from, 2Ps, they out there deep. So, you know how people be migrating, man.
Yeah, well, these guys, this was a state case. All these guys were in custody in 2024, and I looked them up, and they were transferred out of custody from the L.A. County Jail, which is a state case. Now they're in federal custody. So that's a trip. You sitting in the jail for several months, thinking you fighting a state case, and then before you know it, you're you're in federal custody fighting a Fed case.
It's toe up.
Yeah.
Toe up. We got no know the particulars of that. Like more so.
No, I don't know the details, but it does say on the LA County Jail website that the ATF took him into custody. I'm not sure if that means that this becomes a more of a firearm. Well, it's absolutely a firearm offense because you got felons in possession of a gun and then they're using guns in this shooting. But sometimes it says FBI, so I wonder why it says ATF. But yeah, they are not in state custody; they're in federal custody now, and that's a trip because you sitting in there thinking one thing, and then all of a sudden, just out of nowhere, hey guys, pack up your stuff. You're going to MDC now, and that's where they're at. But I think we have a clip. Play clip 2 of this Lancaster shooting.
3 shootings leave 2 men dead and another one wounded in the Antelope Valley.
Yeah, this all happened within 2 hours and only a few miles apart from each other. Mario Ramirez is standing by in Lancaster with more. Mario.
Good morning. A violent night here in Lancaster. A resident just came up and asked us if the cashier was okay because there was a shooting here last year at this gas station that injured the clerk. And we can tell you this is now one of 3 separate shooting scenes under investigation by the LA County Sheriff's Department after a man was gunned down here in the parking lot last night. The series of shootings, take a look. They started around 7:20 last night at 30th Street and Avenue J. LA County fire paramedics arriving to find a man with a gunshot wound to the arm near Cal State's Antelope Valley campus. The victim there taken to a hospital and is expected to survive. Now, about 4.5 miles from that scene, a second shooting was reported around 8:45 last night on Sierra Highway near Avenue H8, where police say a man was rushed to the hospital in critical condition and later died. Investigators there remain on the scene this morning and continue to search for a gunman. And the last shooting, again here at this gas station on the 400 block of East Avenue L around 9:20 last night. A man shot in the parking lot here before collapsing on the street less than 4 miles from that last shooting scene along Sierra Highway. The victim later dying at the hospital with no one taken into custody, and those shootings all within 2 hours and within 5 miles of each other. Coming back out here live, there are several surveillance cameras here inside and outside the gas station. Investigators haven't released any sort of suspect description and right now are working to determine if those 3 shootings could be connected. Live here in the Antelope Valley, I'm Mario Ramirez. Back to you.
All right, Mario, thank you.
Now, that was a clip from 2024, but now that has become a
ATF.
a Fed case, and there's cameras everywhere. They were just showing like where all the cameras are at around this gas station. Man, cameras don't really stop a person when
it's a mission to be.
When it's a mission, camera seems to be the least of someone's worries.
It's called a hoodie.
Yeah.
Put your hoodie on. And then you just do your thing.
But look, the cameras are also watching the car you jumping in and out of. They're looking at license plates. They're following that car travel through different streets, different intersections. So even though they can't see you, the cameras are good enough to figure out a big chunk of the crime.
Yeah, it's ways around everything. like all things.
Yeah. Hey, no one ever got arrested for shooting and killing that boxer over there in the A-Trays that we talked about on the podcast last year.
Not that we know of.
No, that would have been the news. That would have hit the news for sure. It would have been like a boxer that was shot last year. With arrests were made.
It's gonna be a lot, man. I don't know. This summer gonna be wild, man. Just go pray, everybody.
Well, it ain't gonna be like it was in the '80s and '90s. That's for sure.
Oh yeah.
I could always deal with a little temporary spike in crime because it's part of human nature. I always tell, this is crazy. When I have these debates in court with police, they expect to have a society where there's no killing. And I always say it is impossible to have a city like Los Angeles with 4 million people and have 0 murders.
Should have told them that's like having a police agency with no corruption. It happens. You can't control everybody. There's gonna be one bad apple. Not saying all police officers are bad officers, but in the same way in the streets is gonna be a spike.
I think it's easier to control corruption than it is to control homicides. Homicides has been a part of human society since Adam and Eve's sons. And the larger the city, the more heavily populated a city is, the more homicides you're going to have. So if a city understands that, you have to say, we had 300 homicides last year. We did a good job. We did a good job. 300 homicides in a city of 4 million. That's pretty good. You can get it down to 250. I think 250 is the lowest LA's had it with this population. If you can get that under 200, that's a miracle. If you can get LA homicides under 200, a miracle. Is it possible? Maybe, but I think the lowest we've seen was 250.
We could do it. We could do it, people. Let's get it down.
But I'm satisfied with a city of 4 million people having 300 homicides. As insensitive as that sounds, you have to understand there's going to be murders in cities across America, a country that has weapons everywhere.
That's just realistically thinking, though.
Yeah, Chicago is always going to have about 300 or 400, sometimes 500 murders. That's just the way it is.
Chicago have a poor judicial system. They get away with everything. If they had the same DAs we had, they'd be in trouble.
Yeah, but Chicago it's been like that for over 100 years. When Al Capone and the mafia was running that town, the politicians and the council members were part of the criminal organizations. It was a city ran by corruption, ran by criminals. So it's come a long way, but yeah, Chicago still got a lot more work to do. LA is strict. It's strict. California got strict gun laws. You pull a gun out, you're going to prison. You don't even got to fire it. You fire a weapon at somebody and don't hit them, you're going to prison. You can get like 6 years in prison for just firing a weapon and not even hurting anyone.
Well, I know someone that got 23 years for busting on somebody and completely missing them, so I have to take that.
Yeah. So, yeah, California pretty strict on the gun laws. I don't know what Illinois gun laws are. I mean, Illinois got prisons full of people, though. So, I don't know. You're saying they get away with it, but...
Right. The stuff they do, if I did it, my house would be surrounded. Like go do some stupid shit and then tweet about it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And as soon as I push send, my whole house would be surrounded.
All right. There's a government US representative from Washington, D.C. that wanted to check up on a deportee from here, from the U.S. I forget what city. And a lot of white folks is a little upset about this. I would say more conservative white folks are upset about this. But have you heard that Trump's immigration policy is just sweeping a whole bunch of people up and sending them back to home countries?
Yeah, I heard that, but then I heard it's something that he had put in some type of paperwork and it got denied as far as deportation go. He wasn't happy about it.
Yeah, you was asking about fake Cannon. If his girl is a U.S. citizen, because she was born in Trinidad.
Yeah, hold on. Was she born in Trinidad and raised out here, and her sister was raised out here and born out? It was something like the other way around.
Well, her sister's older, so her older sister has more years in Trinidad. I think I heard Cherise say she was 3 years old when she came to the U.S. So that means her older sister, I don't know, like let's say her sister's 5 years older. That means her older sister would have been like 8 or 9.
So Sharice Mills.
Oh shoot, we need a towel.
Yeah, clean up on aisle 92. Nah, you gotta use your brain. You gotta use your head for more to get in the weave in it, because you doing all this stuff and you plan on federal funds, but you're not even from America. Don't piss them people off, man. The feds, the government don't like being played with.
Yeah. So I wouldn't be surprised if she found herself in an immigration thing if she got caught up, because But I don't know. She might be a citizen. She might be a citizen. You know, if she's a citizen, like my wife is a citizen. She just became a citizen a couple years ago. She wasn't a citizen all these years, and now she's a citizen, so she don't have to worry about.
But your wife don't play on federal phones.
Nah, but you could easily get deported. Let's say you're in a supermarket, you're shopping, you get into an argument with somebody in the line, you guys go out in the parking lot and squabble. Police come and find out that, oh, you're not a citizen, boom, you're getting deported.
Right.
You know, for a little simple squabble in a parking lot, something that is completely unexpected.
Right.
And you could be a person that has no criminal history, and find yourself in your home country that you've only lived in as a little kid. So it's real. I remember Alex Sanches. We're gonna talk about this dude who's also from MS-13. Alex Sanches is a dude from MS-13. I had him come to my class and speak to my students a couple times because he has an incredible story. Being born in El Salvador, moving to LA when he was like 4 or 5 years old with his family. Then he joins MS-13.
At what age?
In his teenage, yeah.
Okay.
He ends up going to jail. After he does his bid, he gets deported. He gets deported to a country he has no knowledge of because he left when he was like 5. So you don't know nothing about this country when you're 5 years old. So he figures, I'm not going to stay here. He treks his way back to the U.S., gets caught up in another case, gets deported again, and does the same thing. He did this like 3 times. It got to the point where he got a serious immigration hold on him, and they're going to deport him and make sure he never comes back. He fought it, and he won it. Very rare. He won his case to stay here in the United States, and one reason why he won is because he established a family here. All his kids were born here, and he won it, even though he had been a guy that was in and out of jail. So, yeah, you're going to get deported regardless of if you have knowledge of that country. I know a girl that was from the Philippines. She came to LA when she was like 3, didn't speak Tagalog at all. Got caught up in the case as an adult, maybe like in her 20s. They deported her to the Philippines and she didn't even speak Tagalog.
Just toe up.
Yeah. So, you can find yourself in that situation. I want to play.
There need to be laws to protect people like that, though. The All You Know Act or something.
What you mean? Like how would that law look for Munchie B?
No, not for me. For like the young lady, you just like
but she committed a crime though.
You sent her back home to a place she's not even familiar with.
So what would that law look like? Because technically that's her birth country, and then she committed a crime in the United States. The United States says you commit a crime here, and you're not a citizen. You're going back to your home country. So, what way is there around it?
I had to go home and think about this. My homework, so I could revise my little my thought process on it. But that's toe up to send somebody back to a place they not familiar with, even though they born there.
I feel like if you grew up here, if you got elementary,
he paid to have you killed to get off the ark. Oh, he said double whatever I was offered.
What's going on here?
But I never made that offer. That's what I never understand.
Please stop.
He said that someone told him I offered people money to get rid of him. So he...
Okay. What was the last thing I said before that happened? Damn.
We're trying to figure out how that law would look.
Oh, yeah, okay. I remember now. I believe that if you went to elementary school here in the United States, you got history from kindergarten, 1st grade, 2nd grade, 3rd grade, there should be some sort of exception to deporting you to a country that you have no knowledge from. Now, if you're an adult, let's say 18 or over, and you come here, you got plenty of knowledge of your home country, then yeah, send you back with the quickness. But if you're pretty much bred in the United States, you're not born here, but you're bred here, there should be some sort of exception. But the law is, if you're not born here, then that's what it is.
Yeah, that's toe up, man.
Yeah. Let me read this article about this this politician, this U.S. representative, White House. The White House. This is Trump. Trump is tripping now. The White House representative Glenn Ivey a Democrat from Maryland, for making a quote-unquote shameful Memorial Day trip to El Salvador in an attempt to visit a deported illegal immigrant and suspected MS-13 member, Abrego Garcia. The White House's rapid response account said of Ivey's trip, "This moron spent his Memorial Day trying to visit a criminal illegal immigrant gangbanger in a foreign country. For Democrats, criminal illegals is more important than American citizens every time." Now, this is the White House talking their mess. Ivey posted about the attempted visit on his X account, saying that he represents Abrego Garcia and that the Salvadoran government stonewalled his efforts to conduct a welfare check.
Hi, this is Congressman Glenn Ivey. I'm really astonished and disappointed that the Trump administration continues to refuse to bring back Mr. Garcia from El Salvador. It's clear that the government made a mistake. In fact, they admitted it. So he's being held illegally. The government has the authority to bring him back. President Trump can use the extradition authority that the United States have, or use the contractual relationship that we have with El Salvador. We're paying them $6 million. We can get him back whenever we want. At this point, I'm just assuming that they're scared to bring him back because they'll have to go to court and explain all of the false statements that they've apparently made about him. So we'll just keep pushing, we'll keep fighting, we'll keep pressuring the Trump administration, the Attorney General, the Secretary of State, and others to do the right thing, bring him back so he gets the day in court that the Supreme Court said that he should have. Take care.
And I all I got to say is, hey, shout out to him for checking on a guy who was bred in his district. That's all he was doing. And I don't think it matters if the guy's a citizen or not.
Agreed.
And we have a clip. I want you to hear this clip, Munchie, of these guys on Fox News going off on this congressman who decided to go check on Mr. Garcia. Play clip number 3, I believe.
Happening today, a Democrat senator is traveling down to El Salvador to try to get a deported, suspected migrant gang member back to the United States.
It's really incredible when you think about it. This comes as other Democrats push for a welfare check at the mega prison where the worst of the worst are being held.
Maybe let's just get his aura ready. Make a check on him.
Griff Jenkins is live in Washington with more. So, Griff, suddenly this is an issue that Democrats are embracing.
Well, they're rallying around it. Good morning, Steve, Ainsley, Brian, and Lawrence. And look, this may be a first we're going to witness today. A sitting U.S. senator traveling to a foreign country to advocate for an illegal alien deemed affiliated with MS-13 deported to his home country. But that's exactly what Maryland's Democrat Senator Chris Van Hollen says he's doing today. Watch.
I don't even know if we announced this, but I am planning tomorrow to go to El Salvador to work to bring him home. The Trump administration themselves admitted in federal court that he was wrongfully abducted from the United States.
And he's not the only Democrat rallying around Garcia. A federal judge ordering the Trump administration to facilitate his return. As many as a dozen House Democrats want to follow. Axios obtaining a letter from these representatives, Robert Garcia and Max Frost, requesting a codel be authorized to travel on the taxpayer dime. In the letter they write, a congressional delegation would allow committee members to conduct a welfare check on Mr. Abrego Garcia, as well as others held at CCOT. Now,
all right, so you get an idea what that's all about.
Yes, sir.
Now, let me tell you this. The guy, Alex Sanches, that I was just telling you about, when he got arrested, there was a senator from California, a state senator named Tom Hayden, that believed in Alex Sanchez's case so much, he put his house up to bail out Alex Sanches when he was fighting a murder case.
You said his title was a what?
He was California state senator. Tom Hayden is resting in peace. He just died a couple years ago.
That's all I was trying to wrap my finger around. And what's their relationship?
Man, Tom Hayden was the realest. I had the pleasure of meeting Tom Hayden a handful of times. White guy, California senator, not U.S. senator. Mm-hmm. And when he put up his house to bail out Alex Sanches, I was like, that's the realest thing I've ever seen.
Well, what's the connection?
Because Alex Sanches started a nonprofit. He started his anti-gang thing.
Right.
So he started getting attention from politicians. But while he's doing the anti-gang thing, the same way Big U was doing the anti-gang thing, Alex Sanches got hit with a murder case.
Okay.
But he was innocent of his murder case. It was a murder that happened in El Salvador. This is unheard of. He was getting charged by the U.S. government for a murder that happened in a foreign country. But he was getting charged for conspiracy because he was on the phone call talking shit from L.A. to El Salvador, and then this guy comes up dead in El Salvador. So they hit Alex Sanches with conspiracy to commit murder using the U.S. phone line. And eventually that case was dropped. But he had to sit and he had to fight that case for like a year and a half.
Okay, eventually that case was dropped, and then what ultimately led to him getting deported?
He fought that deportation, and he won that one. He won that final deportation. He had been deported like 2 or 3 times before.
Hey, what's his dude name? He said
Tom Hayden, the one that bailed him out.
Damn, that's cold. That's he a real ninja, bro.
Hey, everybody who was doing gang intervention in the 90s and early 2000s knows Tom Hayden. In fact, Tom Hayden wrote a book about gangs that I thought was really good. I believe I got him to sign my book, but I'm trying to see when
they need to start the Tom Hayden. Am I pronouncing it right?
Tom Hayden
Foundation, because he cold for that one, and he did it out the bottom of his heart, like purely, like that's dope.
He died in 2016, man. Tom Hayden.
Dang, that wasn't that long ago.
Yeah, and I remember when Alex Sanches was fighting his murder case, his defense attorney at the time had hit me up and got me on the team. But we never have to do anything because they eventually dropped the case. They dropped the case.
Hey, nah, I ain't never heard of that man before. He dope, though.
I'm going to tell you why they indicted Alex Sanches. They had 1,000 phone calls between MS dudes in L.A. and MS dudes in El Salvador. But they got Alex Sanches on 4 phone calls. And one of the phone calls, this is what he said. This is what he got indicted for. And this is all in Spanish, of course. But he says, if he wants to go to war, we can go to war. That was probably the most threatening thing that Alex Sanches said in those phone calls that the feds were monitoring. And that guy ended up getting killed in El Salvador.
So them 13 words got him.
If he wants to go to war, we can go to war. Can you believe that? He got a murder indictment for phone calls.
That's toe up.
Yeah, but hey, good thing is they dismissed the case at the end. And Tom Hayden put up his house.
They could do a movie on this.
I believe so. I told Alex a few times, man, that we need to do a deep dive on all of this, and he said he wanted to. I remember him telling me I want to stay away from the federal government because they'll come back for me. The federal government does not give up. They'll keep coming back. They'll find some other BS.
That movie would be dope.
But I understand what this U.S. senator is doing. He's doing this. This U.S. senator has the same amount of love for this guy that got deported as Tom Hayden had for Alex Sanches. It's not a big deal. And Alex Sanches was not a U.S. citizen either. Bro was born in El Salvador. And, I had the same amount of love for Alex Sanches. When the lawyer called me up and said, I got Alex Sanches' case. You think you can help me? Before he could finish the sentence, I said, I'm on it. Because I knew Alex Sanches.
Right.
And I was like, this dude did not commit no murder in El Salvador. This shit is crazy.
But when they want you, they want you.
Yeah.
They come with any angle, any narrative.
And that's why these phone calls are so tricky, man. You can say, who was I talking to? They were talking about, drywall. Who told me? What's his name?
Was it Kenzo?
Kenzo.
Right.
Kenzo said, no, we really was talking about drywall because they was building a house. And he was like, I need all those orders of drywall for the house we building. And the feds are thinking that means a bird.
Yeah, I ain't gonna say his name, no, but if I say his name, you gonna be familiar with his name. He went to the feds. They was tapping his line, and he was talking about fishing. And he was really talking about going fishing, and they equated that with dope.
I know a few guys where they was really talking about with the F-13s. I was tapped in one of the F-13s. He got indicted because they was in the music studio talking about bring some hamburgers. I'm hungry. We hungry. How many hamburgers y'all want? Bring me 2. He wants just 1. And bro got indicted. He did 5 years.
5 years behind a burger.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And of course they have an expert for the government that says that drywall is code talk for drugs, or hamburgers code talk for drugs, or whatever it is code talk for drugs. And it's up to the jury to figure out whether it's true or not.
Man, that's toe up, man. They send you to jail for talking about doing homework with your daughter, man, trying to add this shit up.
Well, they sent your boy Tory Lanez to jail for what you think was a minuscule phone call and some other things that didn't add up.
Right.
But at the end of the day, it didn't matter. He got stabbed in the California prison 14 times, lungs collapsed, rushed to the hospital, in critical condition, but he made it.
All right, what if he came home and him and Kelsey was together?
Well,
wouldn't that be crazy?
I think it'd be more crazy if him and Megan got together.
Nah, that would be stupid, not crazy.
But him and Kelsey?
Because, man, Kelsey clearly shot that girl. And he took the case for her.
I don't believe Kelsey did it.
Yeah, we always go disagree on that.
I don't believe Kelsey did. I think there was a covering for him, but it got to the point where they just stopped covering for him. But the guy that stabbed Tory Lanez did an interview for TMZ over the phone.
Wonder how much they paid him?
They probably gave him a rack. I mean, how much? What's the most you can get on your books in the CDCR?
I don't know.
At once.
Changing.
Oh yeah, but there's a maximum amount you can put on someone's books at a time.
1,000 ain't enough for that interview.
Yeah, but
this the dude that allegedly stabbed. Well, he admitted it that stabbed Tory Lanez. 1,000 ain't enough.
Well, TMZ's not supposed to pay for interviews. They're not supposed to.
They ain't supposed to, but they known to.
No, they're known to pay for video footage, and they pay for stuff, but not for actual interviews. So I don't know how they work their way around it, but we believe he definitely got some money, though, right? We're talking about, what's this guy's name? Santino Casio. You think he definitely got some money from TMZ for that?
Yeah, he got like $1,500.
Okay. Santino Casio stabbed Tory Lanez at Tehachapi 14 times, targeting his back, torso, head, and face. The result resulted in both of Tory Lanez's legs collapsing, and the Shade Room has obtained footage. It's gotta come from the CDCR. The CDCR, I guess, put out the footage of Tory Lanez being stabbed. I don't think anyone's gonna be playing this footage because
trying to stay monetized.
Well, it's definitely not on YouTube, but on the websites. They're playing this footage. Lanez is seen attempting to escape while being repeatedly stabbed. Let's play this fourth clip. This is Santino Casio talking with one of the TMZ reporters. Play that clip.
You that he paid to have you killed to get off the yard. Oh, he said double whatever I was offering, but I never made that offer. That's what I didn't understand. He said that someone told him I offered people money to get rid of him. So he said he would give that person double and some dope and stuff. But truth be told, I never offered no money. Like, why would I offer somebody something I could do? It didn't make sense. But once he yelled and made threats and I'll have you killed and, I'll have a run up to your cell, all that comments and I felt like, all right, you threatened my life. Like, things you looking out to do will confront you. And that's what happened the next morning. I asked him, are we cool? He said, yeah, that's cool. And when I went to my cell, he followed me. And like I told you earlier.
Do you have any regrets of stabbing him?
Regrets?
I see you that he paid to have you killed to get off the yard.
Oh, he said double whatever I was offering.
You that he...
Yeah.
Because you stabbed him 14 times.
Yeah. I know that. I wish I could do certain things over, but at the end of the day, I felt like he threatened my life. So, I can't. Those actions felt necessary to me at the time, like the whole, in the moment, him coming to my cells, grabbing me, walking, I felt like, it's it. So I can't say I regret taking a stand for myself. No, not at all. I mean, I feel remorseful in a sense because it really didn't have to go that far, but I mean, he made his decisions and I made mine.
Did he end up having a weapon on him?
I mean, obviously I got a stab mark in my leg, and but that's going to the hole. I mean, they didn't find shit.
What do you think of that?
Oh, so he said Tory Lanez bust back on him, huh?
He said Tory Lanez followed him back to his cell.
No, but he said he got a stab on his leg.
Yeah, I never that was never reported though.
Never.
Yeah, but
and then he said, why would I pay for somebody to do something I can do myself?
Yeah, that was real. That's the realest thing he said, huh?
And he said nice and calm and poised. You know what I mean? And I believe every word he said. Like I just do it myself.
They definitely had words. Him, Tory, and Santino.
Damn.
And if what Santino's saying is true, that after they had their words, Tory decided to follow him back to a cell in an intimidating way.
But we wasn't clear on did they find a weapon on him though?
On Tory.
On Tory. But you claim you got a stab wound on your leg.
Yeah, we need to see a photo of that.
Photo of the stab wound, right?
Or the report, or the CDCR report that says he was also injured in the melee.
Melee. Was it a melee or was it an isolated assault?
Yeah.
Isolated assault, right?
One-on-one.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't. Where that stab wound at on your leg, and then where's the? You know what I'm saying?
Well, the footage needs to be looked at. We'll see. If this footage is complete, it'll show that.
Okay, Tory, you buzzed back. Tory, yeah, man, stand on your 10 toes. Your 5'2" ass. You only like 5'2", 5'3".
But he's telling this dude, "Are we cool?" He's saying, "Yeah, we cool. We cool." Okay, he walks off. Santino walks off. Tory follows him back to the cell. What's that all about?
If I was to be like a body language expert to tell, like, it sounds like he being sincere.
It kind of do. And he even said he felt a little remorse. I don't regret what I did, but I feel a little remorse.
Because it didn't have to go that far.
Yeah, it didn't have to go there. I didn't have to clap this dude's lungs.
Hey, but guess what? This setback is going to make Tory's career bigger than it's ever been.
When he come home.
What?
Yeah.
What? Oh, my God. If he don't get deported.
Oh, that's another thing. He's got to deal with the deportation.
Right, because he's from Canada.
Yeah, he's got to deal with the deportation. So, and
yeah, do he got kids out here?
He got one kid. And
then he was married. Then he got divorced again since he been in prison.
He should have stayed married. He should have stayed. Oh, she married. She divorced him. So
I wonder why.
Yeah.
I wonder who's that wife.
Oh, I saw her at court once.
She a nice looking lady. I mean, I'm guessing it's Tory Lanez. He better not have no ducks on his team, right? Right.
Oh man, I don't know how to judge her looks. I really don't.
Oh, he being nice.
Yeah, I don't want to say nothing negative. But at the end of this article here, it says Casio has claimed the attack was in self-defense, alleging that Lanez had threatened him. So that's kind of
is a threat being threatened, is that considered self-defense, or you got to act on it? Dead. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I would have thought he would have been in the hole for what he did, and if you go to the hole for that, that's at least 30 days, 60 days, 90 days in the hole.
Man, I didn't quite hear. All right, did he say they both went to the hole?
I don't know, but how can you don't get phone access when you're in the hole? So how was he doing a phone interview this quickly?
You know, everything changed in that penitentiary. Everything is different.
All right. Well, I wish Tory Lanez a speedy recovery. I definitely don't want to see nothing happen to you on that level.
Free Tory, man.
But Kelsey didn't do it. She definitely didn't do it.
Kelsey most definitely did it.
Kelsey,
but keep Kelsey sexy ass free, and she need to be here when he come home. Yeah, and walk him home right.
Yeah,
even though it ain't equal.
Here's why I don't think Kelsey did it, because there was no feminine DNA if I'm remembering this correctly, there was no feminine DNA on the gun.
What you mean, like some weave hair?
No. The DNA, they could tell you male or female on the outside of the gun, and it was 4 different profiles, and all those profiles DNAs were males.
Man, listen,
So
man.
unless it was wiped, the gun could have been wiped in the car.
Kelsey, be a stand-up woman and finally admit to what you did, man. You're not going to jail.
But somebody, I got to double check, make sure that I'm correct on that there was no female DNA on the outside of that gun. Well, I'll double check that.
Yeah, 'cause I don't believe that to be true, my brother.
There were multiple profiles on that gun, though.
Yeah, man, but ain't that the gun that's always packed in Megan's luggage, quote unquote?
No, this was a gun that was in the console of the car that Jaquan Smith was driving. And that's another thing. I don't think Jaquan wanted to testify because the prosecution was going to ask him 100 questions about this gun. Where did it come from?
And it seemed like Jaquan in good standards with everybody, Megan, Kelsey, and Tory.
Yeah, he wouldn't he didn't want to have to answer those questions.
He's the all around good guy.
Yeah. All right, man. Where can they find you right now, Munch?
Munchie B the Mayor YouTube channel going up. MB_the Mayor on Instagram going up. Right here, Straight Politicking on Straight TV. Everybody pull up like Huggies.
Any TikTok?
Yeah, Richard_Hart_TV on TikTok. I gotta start going live on there.
And what about Twitter? You're not active on Twitter as you used to be.
Yeah, I'm on Twitter, but it ain't worth following. I just be talking to gang of gibberish.
A lot of these little documentaries that do things about you, they'll take one of your tweets and put it in there.
Yeah, it be some volatile type tweet, ignorant stuff. That's something like, yeah, I ain't gotta follow me on Twitter. Twitter ain't, you know what I'm saying?
All right, and I'm on Street TV on YouTube, Alex Alonso 101. That's Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube.
What's up with your TikTok, man?
And the TikTok is Street TV. Street.teevee. That's the same as on Instagram, street.teevee. And that wraps up another episode of Straight Politicking. We out.